In Sweden, we have something that we call fika. To fika is to meet socially over a cup of coffee, often with a traditional Swedish cinnamon bun, and enjoy the company of others. In Sweden, we have fika-stugor, that are fika cottages where folks come from afar to fika, often in the woods, like here. Fika is really important for us Swedes. Fika is where all good conversations are had, friendships are strengthened, family ties renewed, and fika at the office is where consensus on the new business strategy is reached. In essence, fika is the setting for the important conversations in life. Conversations that are necessary when we stand before important choices. Right now, you, together with the rest of the world, have an important choice to make. Something worth talking about. In just 30 years, more people will die of multi-resistant microbial infections than of cancer. On average, one person will die every 3 seconds from untreatable infections. That is now, and now, and now. 10 million people will die every year unless we do something. Now. Today. Before we had antibiotics, the 3 most common causes of death were bacterial infections: pneumonia, tuberculosis, and diarrhea. And 1 in 10 children died before they reached their first birthday. Without antibiotics, bacteria was able to flourish almost unhindered, which meant that even simple infections could be life-threatening. Antibiotics made it possible to stop the spread of the bacteria, to kill them and fight infections. It was a miracle. In the short time of the 1 generation that we've had antibiotics, we already take it for granted that most infections are easily treatable. But that is changing. We have used antibiotics indiscriminately. We have used too much. We have used them wrong. The majority of it we haven't even used on ourselves, but on our livestock as growth promoters, the most proven path to promoting antibiotic resistance. As the world grows richer and population increases, the demand for meat will grow, and along with it, the demand for antibiotics. Inevitably, so will antibiotic resistance. In 2016, the UN addressed the issue of antibiotic resistance, placing it on the high global threat level, like HIV and Ebola. The problem is, we are running out of options, running out of effective antibiotics, and nothing new is under development. Research funding is used in more profitable areas, like cancer research that gets 16 times more funding. The lack of effective antibiotics will cost lives, many lives. If we don't turn things around, the problem will grow exponentially. We are on our way back to the beginning, to the pre-antibiotic era, where simple operations and hospitalizations were risky, where more people will die of resistant bacteria than cancer, because simple infections are deadly once again and spread rampantly. Now is the time to change, for humanity's sake. It doesn't matter where you sit in the food value chain. Your decision to take action shouldn't depend on your role as a nutritionist, or farmer, or veterinarian, on what your boss says, or your customers, or your government. It should depend on your role as a human being. You have the power to make a conscious decision to change the way you use antibiotics. You have the power to make that decision for yourself your children, and for humanity. Sweden was the first country in the world to stop using antibiotics as growth promoters and find safer, more sustainable alternatives. Perstorp has been part of the solution for a long time. In fact, longer than we've had antibiotics. So come and fika with us, and let's talk about it. We are just on the other side of the door there.
All right, so anything that comes to mind?
Great experience, very interesting, scary, but very, very good. Actually, very entertaining, very informative. Liked it very much.
I think it was a very strong and clear message. We need to reduce the use of antibiotics. I think there are multiple ways to do this, and technology will still develop and find new ways to reduce antibiotics.
More and more in vet school we have the message to reduce that antibiotics, and also in some companies I'm working with seed lines, we also think in the same way. So no, I think this is a good message today to share, and it was a very nice animation, nice way to do it, I guess. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.